Welcome to Sewing Machine Part 2. In Part 2 we're going to tell you how to sew all of your pieces together. The first thing you'll want to do when you're going to sew your quilt top together is 1. Take out your sewing guide, 2. Take out your instructions, and 3. Take out your pieces and take them out of the bag that you're keeping them in and put them in alphabetical order on the table so that you can find the piece you want when you want it, and you won't have to keep digging through this bag to find a certain piece. In your instruction it says there are 2 kinds of triangles, a B, which is your B pieces that are large, and an A, which are your A pieces that are small. Now if you have cut out your own quilt, you will need to mark these. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric and your B pieces, turn them on the back side, and you're going to draw a line from the tip of one to the tip of the other on all of your pieces. You need to do the same thing on all of your A pieces as well. Point to point, you're going to draw a line right down the center. And you're going to do them on all of them. You have quite a few A's that you need to do them on. Point to point on all of them. And put them back in their bag. If you bought a kit that's already pre-cut from me, you'll find this, you don't need to draw the triangles because the pieces, here's your B's, are already cut. Your B's and all of your A's are the same. They're all cut and ready to sew. The next thing you want to do is take out your sewing guide. If you look at the sewing guide that's in the pattern, you'll see that the sewing machine is divided into sections. We're going to start at the top. We have a section 1, and it's got an A, B, and a C part. We're going to take out part B, 5 right there, and set it aside. Then we're going to find part P4, and we're going to sew a D to it. And then we will find part P3. Go over here in the corner where we're going to work with triangles. We're going to take out our white piece. That's our P3, and we are going to know that we have to put it on this bottom left corner. So then we go to our A's, which are our triangles. We take out a black piece, but it's not cut, but we have drawn a diagonal from corner to corner. Now this diagonal is going to cut this corner this way. We're going to put it on so we have that diagonal down on the bottom corner, and we're going to sew down this line that we have drawn. I've sewn, I used white thread, I've sewn down, you see, right down that line. And I'm going to take my scissors and I am going to cut, and I will press this seam open. Before you cut this off, make sure you are on the right corner of your piece and that you've sewn it down on the right place, because once you cut it, it's very hard to go back. Press my seam open. Now you have the black corner on that P3. Once again, look carefully at the guide. You don't want to sew these on the wrong corner. You have the D, okay, the D, and we are going to put this corner on the left bottom corner. So we take our black that has the diagonal line on it. We're going to put it on the left bottom corner. We're going to sew that, cut it, and open it. Alright, it open, and there I have the D. It has the same corner. Looking at my picture, to make that run, I'm going to need a black D to sew to this D. So I go to my D package, I pull out a D. I'm going to put these 2 together. The white one on the top, the dark one on the bottom. Put the 2 sides together, edge to edge. Always go edge to edge. I'm going to pin those, and we're going to run those 2 together. The D pieces that you have just sewn will then be sewn to your P3, and then you're needing a J to finish that row. So you go to your J's, and you take out the black one that you need. Leave the rest there. Put your J sign back on. These are my J's. And you're going to sew that here, and that will complete your row. Then as your directions tell you, you will sew 1, 2, 3 together. And that makes section A. If you look at section B, there's nothing tricky there. 2 E's to the Q and the G's. And section C is an N, an N, and an N. Then you sew the 3 sections together and you have that one piece done. Let's go to section 2. On this X you have a B, which are your larger triangles. So let's find a B. We find our strips marked X. There's 2 of them. We're going to take the one that we're going to put the B corner on. And then we'll go to our B's. There's 2 B's. One's black and one's white. We're going to take the white one and leave the black one. And it should have a line down the side of it. Once again, you need to unwrap your piece. Get your picture and say this needs to be the top right hand corner. Do not sew it on the wrong corner. It would be very bad. So we're going to put wrong sides together. Which way is this diagonal going to go? This cut's going to go across the corner. Diagonally that way. I will pin it in place. Cut down this corner and then flip it open. That will give me the white corner that is shown here. This is easy to follow. You're just going to go from section to section to section. In this middle section 2, you do the first section, and you'll do your next section, and then you'll do this section, these 2 together, and then sew them to this one before you put on the last section. And then you can sew these to your first section. If section 3, you do the pieces 1, 2, and 3, sew them together and add them to the next. These and add them to the next. And at that point is when we add on the side. This sewing machine is easy to assemble. Simply picking up the strips that have the letter on them and adding the triangle corners as I've demonstrated. The instruction sheet tells you which section to put together and how. One other thing I would like to point out when you're sewing it together, and that is when you get down here on the table of the cloth with the trim, it wants a whole bunch of C's that are blue and then lighter and then dark going down. Now if you bought the package and you take out the C's, what I did was I did this for you so it wouldn't get complicated because I try to make it easy. And inside here are your 12 blue, light blue, dark blue pieces that are already cut into your strips. If you have cut this yourself and you did not buy the package but bought the pattern, you're cutting out your own pattern, what I advise is that you take your 3 strips, which is your dark strip, and sew it to your light strip and do a 1/4 inch seam and iron it open, then sew it to your other dark stream. What you're going to do once you get the 3 of them sewn together is you're going to do your 2-inch cut and then your 2-inch cut and just cut them across for this section, and you will do that 12 times to make your 12 C's. It's just so much easier than cutting all those individual C's and sewing them all together. Let's talk for a minute about the things that are in the little packet that come with your pattern or your kit that are your embellishments. Most of it is ribbon. There is also a little black dot. The little black dot has heat and bond on the back. See the paper? You pull it off and it goes over here as a knob for the sewing machine. Peel it off and iron it down, and then you'll just zigzag around that to hold it down. Okay, in your kit also is black ribbon. The black ribbon's used for separating the spools. It's used for the pins in the pin cushion, and it's used for the sewing machine needle. See? Peel off the paper and you can see the glue. And what you do is you cut it the size you want it, and I usually just put a pin so it stays put, and just tack it down, pull out your pin, press it in place so it stays there. Do the same with both of these. There are pins that go in the pin cushion, and inside the package you have 3 different colors of ribbon. One is your black ribbon, which is used for that pins. You have your white ribbon, which is used for the singer name, and you have blue ribbon, which is your thread ribbon for threading your needle and going across the top. So you cut this length, you peel off the paper, you pin it in place here at the divider, and you go down the length of and you take your iron and you iron it down. And then you pull out your pins and put it in place. Then do your cross ribbon and pin it in place. Back it in the center, and then pull out your pins and iron it down. And iron it all down. And once again, we have 3 measurements. You're going to cut them. I gave them an angled tip so it looked like, a pin, but it doesn't matter. They're 3 different lengths, and you put them in your pin cushion on either side, and on the top here is a sequin. Those are also in the bag, and on the paper there's these little tiny beads that you have to go through before you go through the sequin to hold the sequin on when you sew it on. Let's take our blue. When you are buying your fabric, if you have the pattern, you will want to kind of match this blue that's your thread with the color of ribbon that's in the kit. If you buy a kit, it will match. I will just have the ribbon matching the thread. This one's easy. You just take your blue and go from one piece to here. And then I take my iron and I would tack it on one side. And then I'd tack it on the other side. Then I'd pull out my center pin. And I would tack it down all the way across. The other place you use this blue ribbon is over here, threading the needle. And you can be creative with this. It's a bunch of straight pieces, and then a straight piece, and then a straight piece, and then a straight piece, and a straight piece, and a straight piece. You can wind this any way you want so that you get a loop that comes into your needle with your blue ribbon. When I was putting the letters on their directions here, it says to third it. So you go about a third of this, you measure the whole distance, about a third from here, about a third from here, and about a third from here. And then you want to cut this one in the middle for the middle of your letters, this third. And then your measurements for widths are the same measurement as from here to here is from, see, your measurements from here to here are the same width as your letters. So that same third is what you're using. And then just give it a small space in between. What I did was I sewed very close to the edge all the way around, and then I came back on the other edge. So this has got both edges with a stitch in it, a small stitch to hold the writing down so it could go through the wash a million times and never come undone. I put the package of ribbon and sequins and instructions because I want you to have a nice finished product, even if you just buy the pattern instead of the whole kit. So if you buy the kit or you buy the pattern, there will be a little envelope that goes with it with all of your instructions on how to use the heat and bond, how to cut your ribbon and apply it, the ribbon itself, and some instructions on how to put the name Singer on your machine. This quilt's full of a lot of memories, so is my old Singer Featherweight